Ooh, bad smoke. It's very, very common for people to make this mistake with a smoke. This smoke that you did, if my controllers did this smoke, I would be very mad. Yeah, it's a 4v1 situation. What could possibly go wrong? Everything could go wrong. When people say smoke deep, position your smoke so that they can only exit from one side of the smoke.
It's better to not smoke than put a bad smoke.
Reloading in that situation is very questionable. 8 bullets is more than enough to kill your opponents. If you're not confident with it, maybe you shouldn't fight them in the first place. Hello YouTube, my name is Noctile. I'm a Radiant player since God knows how long. Welcome to my coaching series where I will take you and my community from any and every rank to figure out how you can productively learn and improve in Valorant. And the best part is it's free. If you'd like to take a chance, join my Discord via the link in the description below and read up on the rules for submission and I'll see you there. You're an Omen main, very, very clearly, judging from your past ranked games, which I like. I too am an Omen main myself. The first mistake that I could point out is your smokes. What I would suggest is to utilize your smokes the best way possible. The smoke that you throw here, it's so people can cross, but it's pointless because you already cross. And you're running into sight, practically knife out. You are very confident that there's no one inside. So instead of using your smoke here in this small corner, you smoke these two instead. You can be more confident that if there's someone holding secret or flower, they won't be able to see you enter the site.
So if you know that your teammate is also going to come from mid, for example, this round, it's a lot better if you plant a bit more open. That way, the enemies have to guess where you are playing from, but also your teammate has a chance to play with you. Unfortunately, your teammate does die here. The flash is something you should utilize immediately, especially after you get the first frag, because there's not much for you to do after that since you are stunned.
Your best weapon as an Omen, again, it's your smokes. This would have been a perfect time for one way. Instead of smoking art, it would have been better if you smoked the one way here.
Let's go A. I can ban before we go in.
Unfortunately, you did say go A. 3 of your teammates came with you, but the one lonely gecko brought Spike all the way here. So there are multiple ways where you could have played this. One is your smoke here in art, not useful. It would have been better to do the default smokes where you smoke out secret and flower, and instead use the cover that you've made to actually take art to cover for your teammate gecko.
This round, the idea in the start is pretty good. You destroy the enemy util, they waste it, they don't get any info because you denied that. But this second part where you push up is an unnecessary move. It's unsafe because you don't have teammates alongside you. And it's risky because if you get picked off early, your team has a harder time because you have no controller, which is the main point of Omen.
As much as possible, you want to stay alive for your team, especially if they haven't even taken the site yet.
Carry Yoru close. Just watch out for the flash. Wait, Gecko, wait. Let's wait for the smoke to go down.
Problem number one with this round, you didn't communicate what you wanted to do after just going A. 2, as an Omen, unlike other controllers, you really can help during a fight, and the biggest tool you have is the paranoia. And you could have helped your duelist maybe gain more confidence and win some fights, or at least get some space for your team by throwing it from a safer position. Because what you ended up doing is holding out your util while pushing in, which means you're susceptible to any of your enemies. But more importantly, since your plan was to buy up this round, you won't be able to use what you bought. You should stick with the same line of thought from when you start the round to what you're going to buy and how you're going to use it.
Ah, the spray. That's gonna give you away. Yeah, there you go. Spraying in that manner won't help you all the time. The only time you actually played mid was when you tried to lurk where you got picked off.
You're baiting yourself by giving the Yoru a chance to swing you because you are spraying. Unless you're a god gamer, then you have to reset your aim very quickly when he can just flash and peek you. Whether there's a person there or not, you don't know, but you don't also have to give extra info that you are also in top mid. You can mark it, which you do later on, but now it's very risky to do.
I saw that you were dragging your smoke here a while ago too. Even if you did smoke this, I don't think it would have helped at all. In fact, it would have helped Yoru, where after he peeks and kills someone, he could have easily just went back in. This push was definitely questionable. You could always utilize what utilities you have, which for Omen, you have a lot of mobility. You have a TP, you could have worked with that. It would have made you a lot safer. Literally one bullet from that neon would have killed you. Good flick and readjustment.
That's the idea that you should have had in the earlier round. Instead of spamming, you just wait for them to peek and you punish instead.
Ooh, bad smoke. It's very, very common for people golden under this very common mistake with the smoke. This smoke that you did right here, if my controllers did this smoke, I would be very mad. Yeah, it's a 4v1 situation. What could possibly go wrong? Everything could go wrong. When people say smoke deep, position your smoke so that they can only exit from one side of the smoke.
It's better to not smoke than put a bad smoke, because the bad smoke can bait your team, give them space to play off, and it gives more negatives than positives. So just always make sure that you take your time to do good smokes. And if you panic, etc., you just do it enough times, eventually you just get good at it through repetition.
I didn't notice that. Reloading in that situation is very questionable. 8 bullets is more than enough to kill your opponents. If you're not confident with it, maybe you shouldn't fight them in the first place. You can perceive this round in many different ways. One could be, oh, unlucky timing. 2 could be, you did hold that before. That's also the same way you died. And you also got the information from before that there are people playing art multiple rounds in a row. So you can only expect that if your teammates are out there dying in B, you can expect that the enemy team will try to respond to that and maybe get some more space in mid, which you could have capitalized by just holding, maybe get a pick. Be patient, basically.
Don't allow yourself to be open to that many angles. Knowing that you don't have teammates on top mid means that you have to automatically play a bit more careful. So these small careless things can add up and cause you to lose a round that you think is not your mistake, but these small things just add up. Don't set yourself up for failure.
I like that.
Plan ahead of the round. Taking mid is fine. Maybe you can ask your teammate to help you take mid with you by holding top mid, or you push out a bit later. There's a lot more options if you just take a little time to think about what you want to accomplish in the round and how you want to play it. And that's another like 4v1, but someone got impatient, so people start falling down.
Yeah.
And it's worse because your jet is AFK. Thankfully, you win the round because, you know, it is 3v1 still at the end of the day. But the guy pops Blade Storm and everything, and it's a lot of things that you didn't have to do.
A lot of economy hurt by that.
And this is off the back of that round where you got destroyed, and then before that where you pushed the operator and actually died. So these small things, slowly but surely.
In the nicest way possible, you got lucky with that kill. The Viper shouldn't have pushed that at all. And you walked all the way here making no sound whatsoever, only to give your position away by tapping the orb that you don't need. You have an ult. I like the follow-up that you made here where you backed up your chamber in mid.
I'll be watching you.
The chamber. The
Gecko,
chamber
you
is
have
funny.
spike. Gecko, you have spike.
Spike. Be clear.
Go B, go B, go
Viper
B.
A player.
The initial call that you made here is that you were going to watch art, and it's sad to see that you only pushed through with it for 1 second before you give up and not shoot the dog. Instead, made it so it hits your jet instead. Your Gecko is there in connector picking up his flash, which makes a sound cue. It gives the opponents the information that someone is there, which is exactly why the Viper right here was just watching and waiting for a push. If you want to lurk, you need to worry about
What information you have and what information the enemy team probably has. That way you can hit a proper timing and hopefully punish an enemy team, cut the rotation, or do anything similar.
She gets the chamber again here. Oh my god. Instead of smoking yourself out, it would have been nice to use both of your smokes for your teammates. Or if you're gonna use one smoke for yourself, if you're worried about people pushing from B link, maybe the best way to smoke this would be here, or put the smoke down here, then you could just hold that instead. The one-way smoke. This is my favorite one-way of all time, Fluffy.
Ah, yes, the one for Shaq.
Judging from what I've seen so far, you actually have map awareness, and it's what's giving you the confidence to actually move around the map. I like that. That should be something you carry on. You peeking out like this is actually super scary. There are multiple things that I would like to have you do instead. Jump peek, get a lot of information, and they won't have the reaction time to actually shoot you. If you want to actually peek, bring out your gun before peeking. Because you did hear the information that people are in art. There's a very high chance, especially in high rank queues, that they rotate to somewhere else the moment they make contact.
One main, one art. Main.
Up, up, up.
Close.
You seem to not want to smoke for your team. While rotating, you had a lot of time to kill. Your whole team was already in sight. Help them. Default smoke here, another smoke here, then this smoke.
The point of this smoke, similar to other sites like in Haven for C, a very common smoke. Number one, to delay the attackers from taking control of the entire site. Segment the site into two parts, like back site and front site. That way, since your teammate, two of them were in flower, one was in dugout, they have a fighting chance to take control of half the site already. And then step two, you can take care of the whole site together.
Ooh. He was that close. In this situation, it would have been nice if you fought him head on. If you died, it's whatever, you know, it's already a 2v5.
If I know that I have the man advantage, I'll play safer. And if you're at the man disadvantage, you have to come up with a play to at least try to equalize it.
This was completely unnecessary because you did smoke top mid, giving pressure to the enemy team, which makes them more wary of where you could be coming from. You heard the Neon walking into this corner. The worst thing you could do is to peek out while making a sound. But if you just walked all the way, could have gotten a Sky, could have killed the Neon later too, because then he would peek late. Oh! Friendly reminder, check your corners. Good kill. I really like how after you kill the Sky, you proceeded to spray this cabbage and you held that for a while despite it breaking. This is a very good practice for multiple reasons. With what you saw, there is no reason for the Sky to peek out like that and just ult out in the open. In high rank queues, if they're doing that and you catch them by surprise, there's always someone ready to trade them.
At least in a way you're covering for yourself, so when you're running out, it's scary for them to peek because they don't know that you're running away. So they might think, oh, he's holding the angle.
I like the ego.
I like the being proactive. I think that's one of the keys in ranked in general.
Yeah. Good kill. Weird smoke, but understandable.
Good readjustment after you gain info.
Beautiful. You play that round very well. Like Fluffy said, it's nice to stay active at all times. You can't have fun Valorant just holding down a site.
Prod for info if you're not doing anything. There's always something you can be doing. That's the point.
Keep in mind, eagle peeking and being proactive is two very different things. In that situation, after you kill Sky, if you did hear someone top mid and there's no one to help you peek at all, that would be called eagle peeking. If you do lose that fight, it's going to give your team a disadvantage because you put a 4v5 into a 4v4. Whereas since there was no one there, that was a really good push. Good block. This is actually a perfect flank. I just hope you capitalize from it by having trigger discipline, which you didn't. I like that. The Neon had no business being there, but you were able to pick him off. Good spray, and you clutch the round. Again, that's a good practice too, is if you're in a 1v1 situation and you have no idea where they're gonna come from, smoke the bomb off while defusing. Because it gives them one of two options. It's either to just walk slowly into the smoke or spray into the smoke.
Always smoke the spike 1v1. That's the rule, guys. If you're gonna learn anything from this entire video, that's the one. Every time you smoke a choke in a 1v1, it's like an open invitation for them to spam you.
Oof.
Two mid.
Everyone in the enemy team are playing default. We can see people playing in B. We can see people playing mid and even A. When your opponent is playing default, I would always recommend to sit patiently until you find an opening. Especially because when you peeked out, top mid was not smoked. So there was a lot of other corners that left you vulnerable. look at your map to see how far your footsteps reach. You can see a big circle, that's your map. There's an even smaller circle while you were running. That's how far your footsteps reach. The moment you smoked this and you ran away, if there was anyone lurking up mid, they would have known that B-Link was already open and they would have crept up. Oh my god! I will never get tired of looking at this. The pre-fire smoke. That's nice. Because it makes sense, you know? You saw the smoke multiple rounds. That was the scariest thing I've seen in a while.
Okay.
For my pros, your confidence in terms of your aim. I love your map awareness.
I think it's nice that you're generally more active than reactive. I like that you do know which util to use.
For the con, while you're lurking, do not forget that you have a team to smoke for and not just yourself.
You just need to work on how you're using your util. Make sure that you communicate and you really just follow through with your plan from start to finish to get the most value out of every round. Try to be more heroic on the weaker rounds that you might be able to win.
No smokes is better than a very bad smoke.
Don't throw a smoke for the sake of throwing a smoke. Make sure that all your smokes have a purpose to get some space. You don't have to put standard smokes all the time. Sometimes a lot of the better smokes is just understanding what you really need to do right now.
If you're watching this, most likely I am currently in VCT Masters Tokyo. I will be reading your comments if you want to leave suggestions. It's nice that I can give criticisms on what you could do better. It would be nice if you could do the same with my content. Let me know what you want to see more and let me know what you want to see less. Hope you learn and good luck in your ranked games.